Hey everybody, welcome to Dinner and a Tip. My name is Brenda and I'm going to be your cooking guide. So go ahead and subscribe and you can find out all the fun things that we've got coming up. So yesterday we made tacos, but we actually used bread instead, a frozen bread loaf. And then we were able to fry it and then add whatever seasonings. Oh, that was a hard word. Seasonings. And what we actually did is the tequila lime seasoning, and oh my gosh, it brought the tacos to another level. And I was thinking, I'm like, you could actually do it with ranch or buffalo, but today we're going to actually turn it into a dessert. So we're going to start with our strawberry sauce. And I'm going to do, when I'm cooking with the strawberries or doing any kind of sauce, I want to have some kind of juice in it so you're not losing or watering down any of the flavors. So we're going to do a 1/3 cup of apple juice. If you had orange or pineapple, I think any kind of juice would work with this one. I'm going to do a couple tablespoons of vanilla and almond. This just adds a little extra flavor to it. Whoops, slippery hands today. And then we're gonna go ahead and mix that together. So I'm gonna slide these guys over since we're done. And then I'm just gonna do a little cinnamon with the strawberries. The cinnamon really brings out the flavor of that. So we're gonna go ahead and give that a stir. So basically what we want this to do is just kind of come to a boil, and then once we do that, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do some cornstarch and water, and that way it's going to thicken it up. You never want to go ahead and put your cornstarch in directly. You're going to get white clumps that you're not going to be able to get out. So as long as you pre-mix with just a couple tablespoons of water is actually all you need. You just want to get this cornstarch to have a nice creamy, or like basically kind of a watered down. You don't want it to be clumpy. This way I'm making sure all the clumps are out of this before I add this to our strawberry mix. So the next thing we're going to do is, yesterday I actually got the big loaves, and today I actually got the dinner roll option, and I'm just going to start pulling these apart to just try to thin them out. Kind of like little baby pizzas is what this dough is. And I actually like that it's just the round rolls, in that way if I'm just want to make dessert for like 2 or 3 people, I can just pull out what I need and I don't have to worry about wrecking an entire loaf. So you just want to kind of slowly keep working around to get these pulled out. You want these thin, but not so thin that they're like falling apart. So let's go ahead and try this first one. So I did go ahead and preheat my oil. This is not going to be an activity that you want the kids around for. This oil gets really hot, and you want to make sure that you're kind of, when you drop it in, you're kind of dropping it from a distance so you're not going to get splattered. This oil is probably about 350 to 375 if you have a thermometer. And what you want to do is just kind of push down on it so the oil's getting all over this guy. So the temperature is going to start dropping as soon as you put this first piece in. So if you're trying to make a ton of these, you'd probably want to use maybe a deep fryer inside. But right now we're getting this nice little puff up, which is just perfect. This is what I'm looking for. And I think I'm going to do the next one a little thinner as a taco, but I'm going to show you 2 different ways to plate this just in case you don't have this. So now that this is done, I'm just going to go ahead and hit this with some cinnamon and sugar while it is still hot. And the cinnamon and sugar is going to stick to this. So we're going to take and plate this one up this way. And we're going to have to wait for our strawberries to finish cooking before we can go ahead and plate everything up. But meantime, let's go ahead and play the pizza pole game and see if we can keep this from falling apart. And what I did is I took these out and I let them thaw probably for about an hour before I started going ahead and stretching these. You could probably pull them out in the morning, just kind of keep them separated. When they come out, they're going to go ahead and start separating themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and move the strawberries to a little hotter spot on the grill. I don't know if about you, but my left side versus the right side is a huge heat difference. So poked a little hole in this one, so we're just going to kind of go ahead and pop it and just keep pulling and pulling till we get kind of like a more rounded size. This one we're gonna actually turn into like a taco. So, and then for the filling, I actually went ahead and bought some pre-made cheesecake filling. So we're gonna fancy these guys up pretty good here today. So now we definitely gotten a lot thinner, so let's go ahead and pop this one in. Again, definitely do not have the kids near you when you're doing this one. It doesn't tend to splash up, but it is really hot, so kids and dogs, this isn't the activity for them. Again, I'm just, as you can kind of see, I'm just holding this down with the tongs. That way I'm making sure that it is covered all the way, because I did a thinner oil. And today, sometimes I've done like the plastic or the, what is it, the metal tins that are disposable, and I kind of found that those break down a little bit. If you do a cast iron skillet, the surface is flatter and you get your oil to temperature a lot faster. You're also always going to want to make sure you cover your oil when you're not using it, because that way it's going to come together that, or heat up that much faster. So here we've got another perfect bread one. We're going to flip this guy, and then we're going to go ahead and move him over into the taco holder if he can stop running away from me. So at the taco holders, we're just going to go ahead and slide these in just like that. And that way we can go ahead and put our filling and we don't have to worry about trying to bend it over. So let's try one more of those. And while I work on this, we're going to take a quick 2 and 2 commercial break, and, well, probably not. We don't have commercials yet, but when we're famous, we will. But until then, I'm going to go ahead and we'll be back in just a minute and I can show you where we're at. Okay, so our strawberries are boiling, so we're going to go ahead and add about a 1/3 cup of sugar just to sweeten these guys up. And then this is starting to thicken up on its own, but it definitely needs more help with that. We're going to go ahead and flip this guy over here. We're going to make this one into a taco. So before you put your cornstarch back in here, just make sure you give it one more quick stir, and we're just going to pop that in there. We're going to bring that to a boil, and we're going to let that thicken, and then we're going to be able to put it on. Basically, you could use this for French toast. You could use this for this dessert, ice cream. Like, this strawberry syrup is very versatile. So let's, and then when you take these out, try to get as much of the grease drained off. Hit it with that cinnamon and sugar. Give it a quick flip. And my son actually said these taste just like mini donuts. So they're pretty good even if you just do the fried bread. So go ahead and keep giving this another stir. And so you're going to want these to cool down before you go ahead and start adding the rest of the ingredients. Otherwise, it's going to get pretty hot over here. So as you can see, the strawberry syrup, or actually I would say this is more of a strawberry sauce. It's got that nice thicker consistency. So we're going to go ahead and take that off the heat. We're going to put that over here and let that cool. So this is the pre-made Philadelphia cream cheese. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just put a little bit into a piping bag. If you don't have a piping bag, you could certainly use like just even a Ziploc bag and just cut off the corner of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop it. I didn't even put a tip in this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a nice thick layer of that in here. And then we're going to go ahead and grab one of our earlier tacos. And then we're just going to go ahead and pipe some of the cream cheese in here. And I think it's easier if you have a piping bag to do this, just because it just fits in there a little bit better. So we're going to go ahead and make sure our griddle's off. And next, let's do a little bit of our strawberries. This is still kind of hot, so it's probably going to melt it down a little bit, but that's okay. So I'm just going to smell the cinnamon on those strawberries. So look at that. So we're going to go ahead and drop that in there. I did plan on using a can of whipped cream, but and you live in a house with teenagers, sometimes you just have to make your own. This is heavy whipping cream and 1/3 cup of powdered sugar. I'm just gonna go ahead and hit that with just a little bit right there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and top that with some chocolate sauce. And you wanna hold your chocolate sauce up a little higher. Look how beautiful that is. So now we've got this, so let's go ahead and get a little of our strawberries. And then we're gonna go ahead and, you know what, let's hit it with a little whipped cream since we're already here. I'm just gonna tuck that behind this. And if we're doing chocolate sauce, we might as well just do it, right? So again, you wanna go up a little higher and then just drizzle that across. All right, well, let's see if these are as good as the tacos yesterday. I'm feeling these are gonna be a little bit better. Okay, it does taste like a delicious mini donut with cheesecake and strawberries and chocolate. Go ahead and subscribe. We got some other really good things coming up. See you soon. Eat happy.